Special thanks to Joshua Cintron. He is my first ever Patreon, and he became a Patreon before I even announced it, so that's extra special. Thank you. Hello Game Makers, this is Game Maker Rob, and today's episode of our RPG Starter Kit is going to be covering talking to characters to be able to recruit them, updating our inn so the whole party can be healed, and also the biggest one is implementing multiple heroes into the battle system. So let's get started. Okay, so last time we introduced multiple heroes into the party, but I'm pretty sure some of you will want to add them during the game, just as in Dragon Quest II or many other titles like that. So that's what we're going to cover first of all. If you go into your village and add a new NPC, inside the creation codes, we're going to add these lines. We're going to have a new NPC ID for Barry, obviously. This line here is just so we know which global entry to update. So if we didn't have this variable, it's going to be a bit difficult for us to update this. And all this is going to do is, after we've spoken to Barry, he's going to have his entry of in party set to true. So if it's true that Barry's in the party, just destroy the villager. So otherwise, every time we re-enter the room, he's going to be there. So that's why we need that check inside the creation code. Okay, so now we have added a new ID. We've got to add it, or set it up, sorry, inside obj init. We're inside the NPC region. We've added Party Barry to the NPC IDs. We've also got a new dialogue special character. This is so we know exactly which character is going to be joining the party. This allows you to have the player add them in whatever order they want. In my opinion, the best method to add the special character to the string is something like this, as I've done in the bracket. So plus the percentage and then the string of the numerator. So if eplcars.barry equals 1, then it's the same as typing this. And this is faster, but this is more readable, and it prevents you making mistakes in the future. So that's why this method is better. We also need to add his dialogue, which is down here. I've got 2 lines. I'll join your party, and then when the player presses OK, it's going to load the name creator. And this is his text progress. Obviously, we need one for every different NPC text entry. I think that's it for obj init create event. So now we need to update the talking region of the player. So we're in talking. We've added a new special character just for reference there. And this region is for adding new party members. Check it's the percentage. We're going to check the next character, which should be a digit, and we get it back as a string, so we're converting it to a real here, so a proper number. If name creator doesn't exist, disable a player, create the name creator. We're going to update current name to whatever hero it is. So for this, in this example, it's going to be Barry. And then we're going to create a new variable called current hero, and it's going to be hero to join. So if Barry equals 1, then this is going to equal 1. And one thing we need to do inside this region as well is when we move away from NPC and stop talking. I don't know why I didn't do this before, but previously we were checking whether NPC existed and we had some code there, but we had some more code outside of that check. Still doing something to the NPC, and that can and will cause a crash for this. So we're just going to move this line into here. So we're still checking if the NPC exists before we try and reference it, and that's going to stop us getting a crash if we make any more changes or mistakes later on. So now in the create event of name creator, we're just going to comment out this one, and we're going to set current name to just nothing basically. And now in the step event of name creator. So previously in this pressed OK bit, we just had this line instead of all of this. We need to update it to a 2D array. This also means we need to target a specific entry of that array, which is why we're using current hero, that new variable that we created. And we also want to update the player's text whenever someone joins. So we'll get, if we add Barry to the party, it'll say Barry joined. And then we also want to destroy the NPC after we first talk to it. And then because we updated the global variable of in party, the entry in party, it's going to destroy itself every time afterwards. But first of all, we have to destroy ourselves. And I think this bit is the same. There's no change there. And then one more thing we need to do is to stop another crash is we just need to initialize NPC as no one in the create event of the player. That stops another crash. All it's basically for is because we're trying to reference NPC in some of the player code before we have initialized it. So that's why we're doing it here. And last of all, if we go into the end step of obj init, we just need to update this bit to acknowledge the fact we've changed things inside the name creator. So we're going to store the ID of name creator in name. We're setting current name to the hero and the current hero variable to EPL cars main, which is 0, just so we know which character to update. That should be it for this bit. If we run the game, if we walk across to where the NPC should be, if he's not there, you probably have him set to in party already as true in obj init. So he says, I'll join your party, and then we get to change his name. So let's call him, let's call him Herp. This is Herp joined. So now we look into the menu. We've got hero and we've got Herp. One thing that I didn't do, let's just run the game again and show that we only have the hero to start with. So there we go. So we've only got the hero when we start, and then we go over and talk to Barry. Let's just leave him at Barry. Go back into the menu. And there he is. So as long as you've got that, then we are up to the same point. And while we are doing this kind of stuff, let's also update the innkeeper. So again, inside the talking region of the player, we want to be inside innkeeper special character. We're just changing this line here to make sure it's a 2D array. And we're going to check the main player's gold, because that's where we're going to add and remove gold all the time. And then in the script for innkeeper, again, we're just making it a 2D array, and we're taking the gold from the main character. And then also in obj goodnight, in the step event, we're just, where we were updating the player's hit points and magic points, we're now going to do it for the whole party, or every hero, whether they're in the party or not. This is just an easy way to do it. I didn't want to have to worry about doing any checks or anything, so I just updated the MP and HP for the whole party. That's all this does. Probably self-explanatory. And that should be it for innkeepers. Okay, so now we are going to dive into the battle for multiple heroes. I'm glad that I was able to kind of complete it for today, just because there's a lot to change and add. So we are just going to dive into it. So in the create event of Battle Spawner, we're going to have 3 new lists. DS Heroes is going to be very similar to Monsters. It's going to hold the IDs of the heroes. Why do we need it? Because if, for example, we use the with statement to check the hero objects, then it can give us the wrong order. We always want the first hero to go first, that kind of thing. That's why we're doing this. As heroes die, they're going to get removed from this list, although it's not actually something that I've done yet, so I'll add that in for next time. Hero's magic is going to hold the spells known by the current hero. This is similar to what we have for the player menu. And draw hero stats. Because we're supposed to be removing IDs from the heroes list, we still need to have something that stores the hero stats, regardless of whether they're dead or not, just to draw the stats. So that's what that's going to be for. Then the majority of the changes are going to be in the step event. No changes in this one. Initialize battle. So in create heroes, the first thing we're going to do is SCR equipment check. Then we're going to make sure that 2 of our lists exist, heroes and DS draw hero stats. Make sure they exist. If they do, then clear them. So then we've got a for loop now, similar to how we have a for loop for creating monsters. We're going to do the same for heroes. All it's going to do is it's going to check the player array for heroes in a party, create objects and add them to the hero list if their HP is above 0. So say, for example, you're trying to get back to town because you've lost one of your guys, he's dead. He's not going to be fighting in the next battle. That's what this check is for. And also they have to have joined the party to be able to fight as well. The rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. Party index. We need to know exactly which hero is in the list, because even though Barry is number 1, he might be the 3rd hero in the party for whatever reason. So we just need to keep track of the numbers that way. And also, once we have created the hero, we want to add their ID to the list. And we also want to copy, after we've gone through all the heroes, we want to copy DS heroes to the draw hero stats, just so we can draw their stats throughout the whole battle. And this here was our previous code. Then let's just minimize that. Then in setup variables, so previously the player character was just going to be the current actor first of all, but what we're going to do instead is we're going to copy DS heroes into DS actors, and then we're going to change option state to next actor. So before anyone gets a turn, next actor is going to run. It's going to check DS actors and it's going to find the main hero as the first ID, and then he's going to become the current actor. It just worked out a better way to do it, so that's why I made those changes. I'm pretty sure at the end of the last video we had to update the spell checking, but in case I didn't show you, just make sure you've got SCR check magic when we're checking the spells for the player and for the rest of the heroes. So we can minimize that and this. So once the battle's in progress, we've updated next actor's turn, obviously. Instead of DS actors 0 equals the hero object, we're now going to copy actors to heroes. That's only if the current DS actors list is empty. So this isn't going to run on the first turn. Otherwise, play turn is true. This is just the same as before. Grab the next actor. That was the same as before. Luckily, we had things set up so integrating extra heroes was easier to add than for monsters, just because of this. That's the same as before. So grab default target. So inside, if player turn is true, default target is going to be the first monster. We need to grab the hero's magic list because every hero could have a different magic list, different spells, depending on their level and what they've learned. List index is going to temporarily store whatever number the hero's magic list is. So it's going to be like a 0, 1, 2, etc. And then we're going to copy this temporary list into DS Heroes Magic, and that's what we're going to be using to check spells and cast spells, that kind of thing. You don't need this. This is just for bug fixing. Otherwise, if it's not the player's turn, we're going to grab a random target hero from DS Heroes. So it's not going to grab any dead people because they should be gone from this, although that's something I've forgotten to add. So like I said, I will add that for next time. And this just picks the random target. So, yeah. Choose hero. This is something that we need for the inventory and magic. It's very similar to selected hero from the player menu. Basically, if we're using a herb or casting a heal spell, then we're going to be using choose hero. If we're casting magic dart or magic ball, then we're going to be using choose target. And choose target, basically, whenever we're selecting a monster, we use choose target. Whenever we're selecting a hero, we use choose hero. Whether it's attacking or casting a spell, that's what they're for. Okay, so we're now inside the main region. What have we updated? So that's the same as before. Okay, so instead of using selected option, we are going to be using inventory index for items, mainly for selecting and, well, for everything basically. Magic, we've updated this, we've changed this line to this line. So now in if option state is item, we've updated this line. We've changed selected option to inventory index. This line is new as well. So if we're not choosing a hero and we're not choosing a target, it means that we've only just opened the inventory system. So we're looking for, we're pressing OK on an item to use. Depending on what item we select, there's going to be a spell to cast. We've changed this from spell ID. Bear that in mind. We're not using spell ID anymore, just because that was it was messing things up. So we needed to change that. Don't think this has really changed that much. Well, yeah, sorry, it did do. This was the old this was the old one. This is the new one, so it's changed quite a bit. Basically, if we're casting a heal spell, then choose hero becomes true, as I said before. Selected option equals 0 because we're going to be using selected option to choose a hero. Max options is going to be all the heroes in the party, so it's going to be 1 or 2 for my demonstration. Magic dart, magic ball, then choose target is going to be true instead of choose hero. These two lines self-explanatory, and these two spells haven't changed at all because they're not going to work inside battle, and all I do is move you from place to place, room to room. Don't need that. So here we are. So let me just minimize this. So basically we are inside this bit here. So if option state equals item, open inventory, this is when we're first choosing an item. Just gone through that. Else, so basically one of these is going to be true, either choose hero or choose target based on this. If it's one of these two spells, then it's just going to end the turn and say we can't use the spell. So if we're choosing a target, then we're obviously attacking a monster, so we're going to cast the magic damage spell script. I'll show you these scripts in a minute. If it's a heal spell, then we're going to cast a heal script. And we also need to update charges because it's an item. And only then do we change option state to done. This is with the second press of OK. So we're pressing OK on an item. It could be a herb or a magic wand. And then that's going to lead us to select a monster or a hero. Once we've pressed OK on a monster or hero, it's going to cast the spell or use the item, which is this block here. Before we go into magic, let me just show you the scripts. Okay, so inside SCR heal, these are the changes. It's the same as before. We're just checking to make sure we don't heal more hit points than the character has, but it's been modified to account for multiple heroes. So this is why we're using the heroes list. Selected option is just going to be 0 or 1 for my example, because I've only got 2 heroes. It's either going to be the main character or Barry. That's self-explanatory. And then we're just changing the text to whatever character's name is being healed. And that's it. And then in magic damage, these 2 lines have been updated. So we're grabbing whichever monster we have selected to be attacked by the spell, setting their animation to be true, and reducing their hit points by total damage. And that's it. So back into the step event. We're going to go into the magic region now. So this is pretty similar to the inventory one, and also similar to the play menu. So we're checking to make sure choose target and choose hero are false. They're both going to be false when we first enter the magic menu. And we're going to be pressing OK on one of the spells. We have to make sure we have a spell to choose from, otherwise it's going to give us undefined, and that's going to give us a crash. We're grabbing the spell to cast, checking how much magic points it's going to cost to cast. Make sure that you lose the VAR from this, because we don't want it to be a local variable. Because we're using regions, we can't read MP cost from a different region, so we need to make it just a normal variable rather than a local one. Check the cost isn't greater than the current actor's magic points. This is the same as inside the inventory. This was the old code. And then minimize this. So if one of these is true, then run this. If choose target is true, then do the magic damage script. Otherwise, if choose hero is true, then run the heal script. And remove the mana from the current actor, and then set option state to done. There's no changes in this bit. So because we have multiple characters now, we're going to share the XP between them. So this character is going to be however much experience points each character is going to get. And I'm just going to go through each hero hero object and give them the XP. And then we're just going to give the main character the gold, because we only want 1 gold entry really. We don't want different characters to have different amounts of gold. Then we are going to check the level up script. Let me just import the one that I've updated so we can add that now. Okay, so it's very similar to before, but this time we're using a for loop to cycle through the heroes. So we need to check the hero is active and alive. So if he's in the party and the hero is alive, he's got more than 0 hit points, then just grab his level, work out how much XP is needed, and while the hero's XP is greater than what's needed, increases level, increases attack and defense, give him more HP, make sure that every instance of global.pl stats is now a 2D array, and then we're also checking for any new spells gained. So we've updated this to reflect the fact that knowing spells and the level needed for spells is now inside the PL stats array rather than the spells array. And then again at the bottom of the while loop, we just update level needed and XP needed. So this will keep running just in case a low level guy gets a lot of experience. They may gain quite a few levels in one battle. So that's pretty much it. One thing I was thinking about but haven't implemented is at the moment heroes are going to level with similar stats, but what you can do is you could add or I could add more enumerators to the player array, or even like a class system. So inside the player array we could assign a class to the heroes, and then that would determine how much mana and hit points and spells, that kind of thing, that they get when they level up. That could be something we add at a later date. But I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. I'm trying not to add too many things because this series needs to end at some point. It's not supposed to be, here's a game you can just copy. It's supposed to be a starter kit where you start, you learn and then maybe add things yourself. Okay, so back to the step event of Battle Spawner. So instead of this, we're now updating every hero object or every hero index of PL stats with their hit points and mana points. This was the main reason that we needed the party index variable that we assigned when we created the heroes. So inside player input, we at the moment this is only going to run when we're not in the item state, but when we're choosing a monster or a hero to cast the item spell on, we want to see it. We want to be able to select the hero or the monster. So that's why we're adding or choose hero or choose target. And then also, if option state does equal item, we don't want to be moving the inventory slot around as we choose a hero or a target. So that's why we want to make sure choose target and choose hero is set to false before this code runs. And these three changes, one more, sorry. We've changed selected option to inventory index. Like I said, we're not using selected option to choose an item anymore. So these three changes are the same for down, up, right, and left. And then in press cancel, we are setting choose target and choose hero to false as well. And that should be it for the step event. So now inside the draw GUI begin of our battle object, we've got a few changes to make. So in the magic menu, we only want to display the spells if choose hero and choose target is false. If one of these is true, then we're going to be selecting a target, either a hero or monster. This has changed obviously to DS Heroes Magic. And then draw player stats. We've now got a for loop to make sure we're going to get every hero, and we're going to get the data from DS Draw Hero Stats. We're going to grab the IDs, sorry. We're also now displaying the name. This is useful so we can actually choose a target as well, which is down here. So if we're choosing if choose hero is true and selected option is I, then draw the arrow sprite basically. It's going to choose between the main character and Barry. That was the main changes. Let me just scroll down slowly in case I missed anything out. So that's the draw GUI begin and draw GUI end. So we've added on a check to make sure choose target is false for item, mainly because when the item grid is open, it blocks some of the monster sprites. So we're going to hide it when we are choosing a target, for example, casting a magic ball spell. And then we've changed this line here to this line. We're just changing selected option to inventory indexed. And that's pretty much it. We've done that. Yeah. So if you now run the game, you should be able to have multiple heroes in battles. It's been pretty difficult to get this done in 1 or 2 days. So the testing I've done is you can fight battles and have more than one hero. I haven't tested the heroes dying yet, but I definitely do need to update that, because if we go into OBJ hero, you can see that if one of them is dead, then it's going to end the battle. So the battle's going to be over when just one of them dies. So that's the only real change that we need to make. But like I said, I'll do that for next time, or maybe even sooner. Let's see how we do. So let's use an item with the first character. And then let's cast Barry's magic dart on one of the slimes. And let's use hero to attack. And Barry's getting beaten up, so let's give him a herb. There we go. And Barry's too weak to kill anything by hitting him, so he's just going to cast his spells, I think. That'll be the safe option. And then if we use the hero to cast heal on Barry, make sure that works as well. There we go. So you guys should have something similar to what I do. Please let me know if you have any problems in the comments below. But apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.